What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Prep series. I know I didn't end up getting a YouTube video to you guys last week, which I feel super guilty for, but had quite a few stressors in terms of work and some personal stuff going on. So unfortunately wasn't able to make that happen for you guys. But now until the show, I plan on doing one episode per week. So for today's episode, I want to talk about what exactly I did at the start of prep until pretty much now, like what my protocol was in terms of my training, what my protocol is for my nutrition, my cardio, and go on it a bit more in depth. I know I talked about it a little bit on my Instagram story or on my Instagram post. So yeah, let's get right on into it. I know a lot of times with prep, a lot of people think like, oh, like you want to always prep during a time period where stuff's not going to happen. But unfortunately, stuff always ends up happening in terms of other stressors. And a lot of times it's out of your control. So you can never really wait for the perfect time to prep. But yeah, let's start off with my training program. So at the start of my competition prep, I was training 5 days per week. Currently, we toned it back to 4 days per week because my coach and myself were, when we were chatting, I was talking about how I was not able to fully recover on that fifth session. I was getting a lot of diet fatigue symptoms after that fifth session, so we toned it back to 4. But I want to take you guys through exactly what my workouts typically look like, how they're kind of structured. So Monday I do an upper body day, Tuesday I do lower body, Wednesday's a rest day, then Thursday's upper, Friday's lower, and then on the weekend I have 2 rest days. So for my Monday upper body session, my chest, it would be probably my weakest body part right now, especially my upper chest. So we always have me starting with some sort of incline pressing motion to make sure that that's a priority in my training. So we always structure that first. So first exercise is an inclined push movement. So for my chest, I'm not going to take you through the exact movements that I'm using just because they switch every like 5 to 6 weeks. So they switch every 5 to 6 weeks. And like, it doesn't really matter the exact movements I'm using anyway, as long as I'm doing that specific pattern. So yeah, I'm staying consistent with that movement for at least 6 weeks and progressively overloading with it. So first movement is the incline push. Second movement is a horizontal pull. So this is going to be targeting more of the upper back. Third movement is going to be a chest fly. Fourth movement is a vertical pull down for my lats. And then fifth movement is some form of lateral raise. Sixth movement is a bicep isolation, and the seventh is going to be a tricep isolation movement. So for all of these exercises, I'm doing about 3 sets. I do 3 to 4 sets of the lateral raises depending on how I am feeling that day. So that's essentially what my Monday workout looks like. So 2 chest movements, 2 back movements, movement for my lateral delts, a bicep isolation, and a tricep isolation. So that's my upper body day. For Monday, Tuesday is going to be a leg focus day. So with this one, I start off with a hip abduction machine to target my glutes. So right now for my legs, my hamstrings and my glutes are probably the weakest part. So I'm starting with those first. So I do a hip abduction machine for my glutes. Then I go into some form of hinge pattern. So right now I've been doing RDLs for my hinge pattern. The third exercise is going to be a squat focus pattern, which I've been usually doing like a leg press, quad focus with the feet down a little bit more on the pad. Fourth exercise is going to be a leg curl variation to target the hamstrings. And fifth exercise is some form of leg extension for the quads. Then I do calves, and then I finish off with abs. So that's what my second workout of the week looks like for my lower body day. So the first lower body day. All those exercises, same thing, 3 sets of each exercise. Then I go into a rest day on Wednesday, and then on my Thursday, I go back into an upper body session. So with this upper body session, I start off with another incline push movement. Right now, I've been doing an incline cable chest press. Second movement is going to be a vertical pull down, so targeting more so a wider grip to target a bit more upper back while still getting some of like the mid lat fibers. Let's see what else. So third movement of that day is going to be either a chest push around or a fly. Currently in this training block, I'm doing a push around for my sternum fibers of my chest. Fifth movement is going to be another form of lateral raise. Right now I'm doing machine lateral raises, but every 5 to 6 weeks I'll switch that up. Sixth exercise is going to be a tricep extension. So some form of tricep variation. Right now I'm doing a single arm tricep extension. Seventh movement is going to be a bicep curl variation. So right now I'm doing just a regular bicep curl with the dumbbells. So that's what my Thursday looks like. Again, all of those exercises doing 3 sets of each, with the lateral raises doing 3 to 4 depending on how I'm feeling that day. For the last workout day on Friday, this is my last lower body session of the week. So with this one, I start with leg curls. Again, hamstrings are a weak body part for me, so I'm starting with them first. Then I go into a squat pattern. This one's usually more of like a hack squat pattern. So yeah, I'll be doing that. And third exercise is going to be some sort of hinge or a glute bridge variation. So it depends on which training block I'm in. Right now, I'm doing a hip thrust machine for this specific movement. The fourth exercise is going to be a form of leg extension for my quads, or I'll have like a split squat. Right now in this specific training block, I am doing leg extensions with the machine. Fifth exercise is calves, and then the sixth exercise is abs again. So same thing for that, three sets of each of those exercises, and that's essentially all I do per week. So I'm literally only doing 2 exercises for bicep, 2 exercises for tricep. Bicep and tricep, they get some work when we are doing shoulder presses or chest presses. Same with biceps, they get some work when we are rowing and stuff like that. So for right now, I am pretty much just trying to maintain the muscle mass I have, because when I am this deep into prep, I'm not going to be able to continue putting on more muscle. So this amount of volume for me has helped me recover. My performance is still really good in the gym. I've actually still been able to improve with some of my isolation movements. So that's how that is looking for my training. And now I'm going to go into the nutrition with you guys. So now getting into nutrition. So my nutrition literally has not changed much at all during this prep. Originally when I started my prep, I believe I was about 24 weeks out. I started with 6 deficit days and then 1 refeed day. So as I got closer to the end of prep, like right now, I'm currently sitting 2.5 weeks out from my first show. But I started having 2 refeeds, I believe, probably about 5 or 6 weeks ago. But the first 10 or so weeks, I was only doing 1 refeed and then 6 deficit days. My deficit days for calories was 2,700 calories, protein aiming for 200. And then for my carbs and fats, my coach has me having a larger range just so I'm not kind of so OCD about it. Because I know for me from past preps, the more OCD I am with my macros, the more stress it causes me, and then the more it's harder to kind of fit things in. Whereas having a bit more of a range makes it a little bit more flexible, less stress, and then it stops that kind of OCD-ness that I have when it comes to macros. So yeah, my carbs are between 275 and 340. My fats are between 60 and 90. So that's what my deficit days look like. So they're 2,700 calories in total. For my refeed days, I am at 3,200 calories, proteins 200, carbs are 400 to 465, and then fats are going to be 60 to 90 grams of fat. So the same as my deficit days. So again, I started off my prep with 6 deficit days and then 1 refeed. Currently, right now, I am actually consuming more calories than I did at the start of prep. So I have 5 deficit days and then 2 refeed days. So the refeed days are just essentially my maintenance calories, the amount of calories to keep me at the exact same weight. What we essentially do is just increase the carbs just so that I can replenish muscle glycogen stores, and it helps with diet fatigue and all of that kind of stuff. I'm not going to get into exactly what diet fatigue means in this one because I don't want this video to be like super long. But yeah, so that's pretty much what my nutrition looks like. Again, no food restrictions. I have a certain fiber target that I'm trying to hit or get within, which I actually don't have it written down. I believe it's between like, I think it's like 27 grams to like 40 grams or something of fiber, something like that. And then just getting like a serving of either fruit or vegetable in each of my meals. And making sure that I'm spreading my protein throughout the day within like 3 to 5 meals essentially. So that's exactly what my nutrition looks like. Nothing crazy. We've kept things super simple. My refeed days are actually on the weekend when I'm not training at all. This really helps me like just wind down, and it really helps with the recovery process. I found in the past I would put refeeds on days that I was training, but I found it's actually worked a lot better this way compared to last competition preps. The last factor I want to go into is my cardio. So I've literally had no scheduled cardio this whole prep. I've been doing 5,000 to 7,000 steps each and every day. And this is the exact same, I believe the exact same amount of steps I was doing in my off season too, so it hasn't really changed at all. I pretty much just have to add in a walk throughout my day, like a half an hour to 40-minute walk every single day if I am not working out. So super easy that way. In terms of my weight, how much I've lost per week, at the start of this prep when I was 190 pounds, I was losing about 1.3 to like 2 pounds per week for most of those weeks. Not every single week. There's a couple random weeks in there where I only lost like 0.5. But we waited, we didn't make any adjustments too soon, and my weight continued to drop off. The last 7 weeks, I've been dropping probably 0.3 to 0.7 pounds per week, which is normal. As you do lose weight, your metabolism does start to downregulate as you have less total tissue. So yeah, metabolism downregulates there. Also with like meat and stuff, you tend to naturally just not moving as much. So that's another factor that plays into that. But yeah, and also having that extra refeed takes that full week deficit down a little bit. So I'm not quite losing about 1.3 to like 2 pounds per week. But that's essentially how you want to set it up to preserve as much muscle mass, because when you are getting extremely lean, you're getting to a higher risk of losing muscle mass. So if you can slow down that rate of loss towards the end, you're going to be in a better position to maintain muscle, and your metabolism isn't going to downregulate as much. So yeah, that's all I got for you guys for this YouTube video. If you guys have any questions about my competition prep or about my nutrition, my training, feel free to leave the questions in the comment section below. And I will be back on here next week. I'll probably talk about what exactly I'm doing for my peak week, or I may talk about something else. We'll see what happens when it comes. See you guys.